Joining us now is royal editor for the Daily Mirror, Russell Myers. Russell, it has been quite a week. A lot has been said about the allegations, but I'm more interested in the why. Why are these things said in the first place? Because once you tell someone, you lose control of that information.
Well, absolutely. Hi, Caroline. I mean, that's exactly the question, isn't it? Why on earth are we in this position? And certainly, on earth do we get out of it? And that is the big question I suppose the royal family could be asking themselves, and indeed the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, because it was first in 2021. I mean, can you believe we're still talking about this issue? And I suppose the royal family thought perhaps it had been put to bed, perhaps there was the green shoots of a new relationship with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. And yet here we are with the two royals being named this week. And I think that when you look at the situation, people will think it's wholly unfair about how this whole episode has come about.
And Russell, you've published a piece within the last few hours about the implications of this book on Harry and Meghan. What did the Sussexes do at this point, in your view?
Well, I think they're in a difficult situation because, you know, they perhaps were trying to, certainly Prince Harry, trying to garner a new relationship with his father. We know that the call that he had with him on his birthday, the video call or video message that they sent with the children for the King's birthday. And so he is possibly thinking that there is, the green shoots of this new relationship about to be burgeoning. However, I think this puts them in a very difficult position indeed, because all of this mess, this whole saga, started when Meghan Markle made those allegations to Oprah Winfrey. And regardless of them changing their story, whether it was allegations of racism or unconscious bias, that was the foundation for where we find ourselves today.
Now, the rest of the royal family appear to be getting on with core business this week. That seems to be the standard approach, correct?
Well, very much so. I mean, it's straight out the royal handbook, isn't it? You know, business as usual, keep calm and carry on. And we're going to see that this week. We're going to see the diplomatic corps reception at Buckingham Palace. It's a cemented date in the diary for the royals, and a glittering ceremony. We're going to see, obviously, the King and Queen hosting it, but the Prince and Princess of Wales will be there as well with other members of the royal family. And very much, you know, this diktat from the palace. This keep calm and carry on, I suppose, is being filtered down throughout all of the royal family. And then on Friday, we're going to see the carol concert, Kate's Carol concert, which has been a great success over the last couple of years. And that will take place at Westminster Abbey. And again, a huge success, huge focus for the royal family in these troubling times.
Now, there's also been some talk about a potential legal action by the royal family. Do you think that's likely or advisable in a public relations sense?
Well, it's difficult because it isn't unprecedented, but we've certainly had instances in the past, but they are far and few between where the royal family have decided to take legal action. I can think of when the Queen backed Brexit. There was a newspaper that was taken to court, topless photos of Kate Middleton when William and Kate took a French magazine to court as well and won. This is quite a difficult situation for them to decide. Should they, go with public opinion, which has been overwhelmingly sympathetic, or do they need to make a stand on this book? I wouldn't be surprised either way. I mean, that is potentially sitting on the fence, but I could see a situation where they do take legal action. It is very, very serious claims that we've got here, but they may decide to take their foot off the gas, not rush into any decision, and wait it out and see what happens.
Now, this blow-up has been called the royal racism row, but even the head of the former head of racial equality there in Britain considers the allegations to be nonsense. As a society, do you think we jump to convenient conclusions on this sort of thing too quickly and easily?
Well, I'm not sure, really. I mean, obviously, the allegations were made by Meghan Markle herself. We can only, take her word for it of how offended she was by certain comments that she alleges were made. Prince Harry backed her up in that Oprah Winfrey interview, but they have changed their story. I mean, Prince Harry was saying we didn't say racism, we're blaming it on the British press. But when you're talking of conversations in such a nature, I think it's very, very hard to get out of the sort of race row concept. And so even by saying unconscious bias, I know that is a distinction that Harry and Meghan have both made, but these are very, very serious allegations and conversations that one family may say are completely normal and another family may say it's not. So I suppose it's only the family and the people who are offended who really know what happened on that day, and certainly and how taken aback they were.
Now, on to other things. King Charles made a speech at COP28 this week. Here's what he had to say.
Unless we rapidly repair and restore nature's unique economy based on harmony and balance, which is our ultimate sustainer, our own economy and survivability will be imperiled.
Russell, how was his speech received? Was it well received? And how did this kind of play against the backdrop of the current family dramas back home?
Well, it was certainly his main focus. I mean, he didn't get to go to the last COP when Liz Truss, the Prime Minister who was only in power for a few days in the UK, she pretty much banned him from going, didn't think it was appropriate. Charles would have wanted to be at the last COP and invited once again to speak in front of world leaders. Very, very important to him. He's been a campaigner on the environment and climate change for the last 50 years. Very, very well respected in that sense. And I think that, listening to his words, world leaders were gathering en masse to listen to his keynote speech there. And listen, he's back in the UK now. He's taken the weekend off, but it will be back to business, I suppose, and thinking about with the lawyers and the senior aides about how best to tackle this situation, because it will be a renewed focus this coming week.
And William and Kate were also on Official Royal Business this week with the Royal Variety performance. Can you run us through this event and its purpose?
Well, it's great. I mean, it's at the Royal Albert Hall. It's a glittering ceremony. It happens every year. It's a sort of the best of show business that Britain has to offer, and lots of guests from around the world. I think Kylie has definitely performed there down the years. It's certainly one of the big calendar moments, not only for the royal family, but for Britain as well. And it gives a chance for the royals to let their hair down, celebrate, the best of the entertainment industry. And I'm sure, looking back on that, they'll be looking forward to the Carol concert on Friday.
Russell Myers, as always, an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks, Karen.